Welcome back to another episode of Casa de Confidence. Jackie Roby, friend of the show, is back, and so much to unpack because these conversations have so many different ways in which can be new information, although a lot of individuals need to hear it in different ways than they did before. And Jackie Roby is an incredible individual. Inspired Journey Consulting is where you can find her. But she's a relationship mindset coach. And I want to talk a little bit about her purpose and how did you arrive, Jackie, to being that person who is helping individuals shift their mindset and as it relates to relationships, because we all have them and we all want them.
Well, thank you for having me here, Julie. And I love that question. I think it unfolded based on messages that people were giving me. Mm-hmm. So I've been on my healing journey for 23 plus years. Mm-hmm. And the first time I even heard the term boundaries was after I left an abusive relationship in high school. I didn't even know it existed. I'm a Latina. Mm-hmm. We didn't have that word.
No.
And understanding, wait, I'm allowed to say no? What do you mean?
Yep.
So that was the beginning of the journey. When I came to a space of opening my business, the more I got deeper into it, the more I realized, wait, my gifts are being shown to me. People are telling me I'm the light, that they want to have calm like me. How can I mentor them? Teach them the ways. And it was so interesting for me because I never would have considered that. And I originally came from a background in sales and marketing in the travel and hospitality industry. And what I realized was that my background, my original career, was actually a trauma response.
So good that you talk about that. Because I think that that is the story for so many of us. And, you know, as a Latina myself, I actually was having this conversation with myself and I earlier today. I was blow drying my hair and I knew that you and I were speaking later this afternoon. And I started to kind of go down memory lane. And when I first started to, and again, I didn't have anything horrific in my childhood, but I had trauma in my childhood. And there's things that definitely, you know, kept me stuck and made me make choices in my life, right? That were not healthy because of, you know, the path that, or that trauma response to, like you framed it. And I remember I decided to go to therapy and I finally, I guess I shared it with my mom at one point. And she was furious because she said, "You're not crazy. You don't need to go there." And it was such I see it now, right, from a different lens. It was a lot of that passed on from a Latina family. And I remember at the end of that conversation, although she was incredibly angry, and I went forward with therapy for many years, but I remember her saying, "Well, they're going to tell you it's all my fault. Fine, you can go blame me." And does that not sound like a family again that is carrying generational trauma?
Deeply rooted in there.
Yeah.
Deeply rooted in there. I'm actually reading a book right now, Healing CPTSD for People of Color.
Oh, that sounds like a good book. I'm going to add it to my list.
It's amazing. I believe the author is Natalie Gutierrez.
Natalie Gutierrez, yeah. I don't know her, but yeah, I'm going to go check it out.
It's extraordinary because the thing is, I love how you mentioned I didn't have these big things, but I did recognize the trauma because as people of color, we have trauma simply by being people of color because we have faced so much oppression. And oppression is abuse. And all of the systemic racism and issues and the bias that we face is deeply rooted. And we may not be conscious of it. Now, I've
Yeah.
told you before in our personal conversations, I was whitewashed. I was raised to say, you are white. And my mom is
Hmm.
white. My dad's Latino.
Hmm.
But I was raised as, you are
Yeah.
white. Yes, you're all these other things, but you are white.
Yeah.
And while that made sense for them at the time, and space and grace, I understand. What it did for me, though, was create this really strange set of glasses that I didn't understand what was
Hmm.
happening to me. I didn't
Yeah.
understand when I was being oppressed, when I was being discriminated against
Hmm.
for the color of my skin.
Yeah.
I didn't get it because I wasn't taught to understand it.
And I
And
think that that is because they don't understand it themselves.
yeah, well, it was kind of like assimilate
Hmm.
because that will help you.
Yeah.
That will be better for you. And we were given the white way of doing things.
Hmm.
And I had no idea until I met my husband, who's the most wonderful man in the world who happens to be Black.
Hmm.
And he said to me, Jackie, you're not white. And I went, wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
What do you mean?
Shocker.
Yeah.
No idea. No
Mm.
idea. And so that alone is a identity trauma of understanding self. And when we
Mm.
think about breaking things down in therapy, I love how you mentioned bringing that up. Oh, therapy is the gift you give yourself. I was in therapy for 15 consecutive years. I had five
Hmm.
different therapists that took me through different spaces until the last one I had for
Hmm.
7 years said, we're good.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And now I continue to work with coaches because honestly, we always need
Mhm.
support. We can always be better and learn
Always.
and grow.
Oh, girlfriend, here I am. I am definitely that person. And, therapy takes you only so far. And again, we're not giving you medical advice, individuals, but it is important to get the support that you need because we don't realize, and the innate message, right? You need to do it this way. In the quote unquote whitewashing, what happens is the message that you're getting is that there's a part of you that doesn't belong. There's a part of you that's not good enough. There's a part of you that you need to hide because the world doesn't want it.
Mhm.
And that's a lot to carry.
Right. You are not enough.
You're not enough. Yeah. But you have figured out that you are enough through a lot of the work. And that's what you're hoping to continue to help others with.
Absolutely. And I want to be very clear and very transparent as I am with all of my clients. I'm not perfect.
Mm,
I have
yeah,
my moments,
girl, you and I both. Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
I think we get to this point where we think, I'm healed.
Hmm.
I worked on it. I'm good. Don't worry about me, you know? Or, of course, I don't feel that way, right? We put up these walls of pride. But the
Hmm.
fact is, it is okay. You're going to have moments. You're going to
Yeah.
slip. You're going to have to unveil a new
Hmm.
layer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
isn't that exciting to be able to elevate to the next level?
Hmm.
And what we do, the work that you do, whether in therapy or with the coach, is going to help your recovery be quicker.
Hmm.
Because it's not about blaming mom.
No,
It's just
no.
about understanding how it impacted you and
Mm.
figuring out what's the next step.
Yeah. I believe that in discovering who you are and embracing those parts of you, then you can start to create a new narrative for your life. Now, how did you choose happiness for yourself?
Hmm. Well, I live with depression, anxiety, and complex post traumatic stress disorder. I have had too much abuse.
Mm.
And through my healing, I was telling you, I was actively in therapy, doing the work on the antidepressants. Cool.
Hmm.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you, modern medicine. And I had met my husband, madly in love. This man is one of my biggest lessons, right? Madly in love, happiest I've ever been, or so I felt.
Hmm.
And one day he came to me, it was probably 3 months into dating, and he said, going to your home is like going to a funeral. You're
Wow.
not happy. Yeah.
That's a little ballsy for a guy that you're just been dating 3 months. Good
Yeah.
for him. Good for him.
And I mean, we'd exchanged the I love yous. We were knew
Yeah.
it was fast and furious. We knew this was it. But here we are in this moment, and he's telling me this, and he tells me I'm not happy.
Hmm.
And at that point, it was like, well, I have to do a little bit of a soul search here. And what I learned, which I believe was coined by the Global Wellness Institute only a matter of years ago, so I can say it concisely now, is the difference between mental health and mental wellness.
Mm. Yeah,
Because you can
absolutely.
have great mental health, but you could still be falling and
Mm.
struggling in your mental
Yeah.
wellness. And mental
Yeah.
wellness is part of that daily practice. And I learned how to choose happiness, how to create change, how to shift mindset, because
Mhm.
that's what it is. It really is a daily effort.
Yeah, I totally see that. Now, unpack for us again the difference. What is mental health and what is mental wellness? And I love that you're bringing this up because I think that there's a lot of people still that kind of group them together and think it's one.
Mental health comes with a diagnosis,
Yeah.
plain and simple. We work on our mental health. And so many people who don't have a diagnosis think they don't have to worry about that.
Mm, true.
Mental wellness, as I mentioned, you can have a mental health concern that is going really well and
Mhm.
still be struggling in your mental wellness. Mental wellness is how you are soaring in your
Mm,
life, your happiness, your mindset, your overall well being.
yeah. Yeah. And they're interconnected. And I think that this is such a important reason why we need the guides that come alongside of us like you do. I know that for me, and I often have said it on the podcast, I never knew this was a real thing, or I sort of have heard about it, but until I actually went through it. But I suffer from seasonal affective disorder. And it is incredibly hard for me in the middle of January to really do the things that I know I need to help me in my mental wellness. And this is why the accountability of someone can help you. Now, they don't do the work for you, but it can provide you the support, especially in these moments that you're just like, nobody knows how I feel. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to be able to teach you how to do it in a way that supports your lifestyle. That's one of the
Mhm.
things I find really important
Yeah.
is we need to bring it in and not say, okay, I'm carving out an hour.
No, it's not
It,
sustainable.
no, if you've got an hour, cool.
Mhm. Yes, that's very good. And
But
not
let's
everybody does.
no.
Yeah.
And I talk to my clients about finding that moment, even on the Zoom call.
Hmm.
How are you calming yourself and your system,
Mm.
regulating your nervous system in the moment,
Yeah.
no matter what's happening? Because there are ways to do that.
Oh, and it was so important for me to have had something like that in for so many years, and I didn't have that little tool in my toolbox. And what would happen is I didn't know what to do. I would fall into this pattern. I would really hate on myself, and then I would go down the spiral.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm a hyperachiever like you are. So, and a controlling. Those are my saboteurs. Hyperachiever, controlling. Oh, and restless. Those are three. So the hyperachiever would say, oh, you're failing. The controller is like, oh my God, nothing is going like I wanted. And then my restless was like, oh, screw this. I'm going to go and find some shiny. Yeah,
Yep.
and it doesn't take an hour of me journaling or doing, the meditations. Even today, right? My practice is different daily.
Mhm.
And it's something that again, I choose to do. But it's
Yes.
practice, right? And it's something that's been happening for a long time. What does your mental wellness practice look like?
Hmm. Well, honestly, I start every morning with some level of meditation.
Mhm.
Meditation soothes me. It's something that I
Yeah.
connect with. I have different ways of doing it. I study
Mhm.
transcendental meditation, so I utilize that. I use mindfulness
Mm.
meditations. That's always a beginning for me.
Right.
Throughout the day, I utilize mindfulness, whether it is doing 3 deep breaths, and I mean breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5, really focusing on
Mm.
the depth of that. I'm using tactile ways to soothe my nervous system with mindfulness. I do that throughout the day.
Mhm.
And most recently, I've actually been spending some more time with my journal.
Mm.
And what I tell my clients, because I understand that people go, oh my gosh, well, I journaled one time and oh, I didn't keep it up the way I was supposed to.
Mhm.
There's no supposed to.
Yeah, there's no supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throw out the guide. You don't need the special notebook. You know, I've been keeping it a little bit close by for when those moments where I'm feeling not awesome.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be like devastating. It's just like,
Mhm.
ooh, I noticed that. That's not great. And then I just free write so I can get the thought out of my head. I find this very important. It's one of the steps for me in my magic methodology. It's articulating your feelings. I get it out of my head,
Mhm.
see what it was, I move forward. And it helps to release. It also helps to gain some great insight and guidance. But that's an aspect of it. And then I also end my nights with
Mhm.
meditation again.
Yeah. It's so good. A couple nights ago, I picked up the phone to do a meditation, and I had a text message from someone that was actually I guess a TikTok, and then I went to TikTok to look at the thing, and I finally looked at my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go to bed, and I will tell you, I had a terrible night's sleep.
Mhm.
Terrible, terrible.
Oh, I love that you brought that up because a digital detox
Hmm. Yeah.
is amazing. Phone down at
Mm,
night. That's a beautiful
yeah.
way to practice, self-care and to support good sleep
Yeah.
is to not look at your phone, to not spend time on your phone for 30 minutes. Now, similar, I have meditations on my phone
Right.
that I'll utilize, or I use a brainwave app that I really love that has
Ooh.
binaural beats.
Okay.
Uh, so I'll use it for that. But there's no scrolling, there's no
Yeah.
email. I read a book.
Hmm. Yeah. I
I read a book,
typically,
I close my
that's what I tend to want to do. And of course, there isn't perfect. And this is important for you to know if you're thinking, oh, I can do that. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to do it every night. You're going to have your days. But it's important to say, okay, well, let's try again. Or what can I do differently, right? If maybe having the meditation on your phone is too much of a temptation, then maybe you want to go ahead and just be in quietness for a couple minutes and just relax, or just ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? And or sit in your room, and as you close your eyes, try to think of all the different things around you in the room. Listen to the noises or the lack of noises. And those are very easy things that we can do. But again, you doing that has a huge return for the investment that you're making.
Absolutely. I love that you brought up gratitude. It made me think of a practice that I do. I have dry eye often. I wear glasses most
Mhm.
of the time or contacts. And so I'll do warm compresses on my eyes
Oh.
for 10 minutes at a time. And you do 10 minutes 3 times. And so I set a timer. And in that 10 minutes, I challenge myself. Okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes thinking of all the things I'm grateful for.
Mm.
Then I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes on the next round thinking of all the things I love about myself
Hmm.
and name them. And then the next one, 10 minutes of everything I'm worthy of.
Wow. Everything you're worthy of. I love that. So walk me through some of the things that you may say to yourself that you're
Mm.
worthy of.
Oh, I'm worthy of my wildest dreams.
Love that. I'm
Mm.
going to need to use that. Can I borrow that, Jackie? That's good.
Please own it. Own it.
Yeah.
I'm worthy of the new MAC lipstick I want to get.
Ooh,
I'm,
girl, not enough lipsticks in my life.
they are not. And the thing is it goes down to those things. And I want to be really specific about that because we speak to ourselves in ways and we micromanage ourselves in ways that we don't realize. And it does have to do with our worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
I do it, catch myself doing this when I grocery shop.
Mm,
I grocery shop for the house and I go, well, should I buy something that's just for me that I'm the only one
yeah.
that eats that? Oh gosh, am I selfish? Is
Yeah.
husband going to be upset about that? Oh, I don't know. I have to go, Jackie, you are worthy of pepitas.
Oh,
You
I
know?
love that.
Get them. It's that reminder though. And that's the thing is we're shrinking ourselves in all of these subtle ways.
Mm,
All the women that I've spoken to this past week have talked to me about feeling selfish, feeling guilty for wanting something just for themselves, not understanding what fun looks like anymore.
mm,
And when we started our conversations, all of them saying how happy they were.
yeah.
And yeah, they are happy, but what they're not seeing clearly immediately, of course they're not,
Mm,
is that they're giving themselves away. So one of my very top saboteur actually is pleaser.
mm. Okay, I know a lot of my clients have a pleaser in them, and that's really their top saboteur. But I think it is definitely common for women to have that as one of their top saboteurs.
It absolutely is. And especially for women of color. So I work
Mhm.
closely with women of color and allies. It's a priority for me to have an inclusive
Mhm.
space and recognizing that we have different needs and experiences. And it's so important to be seen, heard, and understood for all
Yeah.
of the complexities and intersectionalities that we
Mhm.
go through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are likely to give and give and give to all the people around us, all the people we love, because that's what love looks like.
Mm,
Loving them up with everything you've got and putting them all first.
mm.
We're-
I, Jackie, tell me an instance in which maybe you can explain with an experience maybe that you've had as a pleasing saboteur and you working through that.
Sure. Oh. Well, I will say that the grocery shopping was the first one.
Okay.
I had an experience with my husband taking me on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And in a moment of stress that he was talking about stress around money. And I like to clarify this because everybody in the world has stress around money. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter how high or how low, but I want to say it because I want to normalize the conversation. Oftentimes, especially as people of color, when we talk about money and we think if we say that we're stressed or we worry about it, then we're telling people we're poor. And that's what we equate it to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's not reality. So, as we're having this stress conversation, my pleaser thinks to myself, at the same time that we're going to dinner, he's taking me to this beautiful dinner at a Michelin star restaurant. I shouldn't eat tonight.
Ooh. Mm.
I shouldn't eat dinner because if I don't eat, he'll feel better.
Oh, talk about a pleaser.
Yeah, that will create ease for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so important to notice this because, again, it comes up in small ways, it comes up in big ways.
Yeah. Mm.
So for me, it was doing my deep breaths, journaling, actually, not at dinner.
Right.
I ate at dinner, but I'm not going to lie, I had anxiety.
Mm,
But
yeah.
journaling after and realizing it actually wasn't my story that I was reliving.
Mhm.
It was an
Yeah.
old family narrative, things that
Yeah.
I'd seen.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden I was playing it out. When in reality, he wanted me to enjoy. He was sharing his feelings with me because he loves and trusts me.
Mm,
And it's not my job to fix everything. That's one way. For a client of mine, I noticed that what she does is she takes on other people's work. And she's in the C suite. So she's doing work for other layers in her company. It does not make sense. She's the leader,
wow.
but feels so bad not wanting to give them anything, not wanting to stress them out, thinking she
Hmm.
should be the one to take it on.
Oh, that's a tough place.
Yeah.
And because you going back to the belonging
Mhm.
and the innate thing of I want to be right, or I want people to embrace me and like me and know me, and we feel that I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
Mm,
Right. And as women, we've worked so hard to get there.
mhm.
And the fear that it's all going to be ripped away when we say no, because there'll be somebody waiting to take our spot.
Yeah,
Or the thought in our head is there's somebody waiting. If I say no, they don't care
yeah,
about me anyway. That's going to be the reason to get rid of me.
yeah. Oh, I've had that thought many a times in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And it's debilitating.
Yeah, and by the way, I would say that it's something that as a business owner, in creating boundaries with clients, I tend to think, oh, well, what if they don't want to hire me again? And that is the thing, and I want to kind of correlate this to something else that you said in your story with your husband. You didn't want to worry him. He's sharing with you, and as you mentioned, he was doing it from a place of sharing with you, not to stress you, but you immediately went into that pleaser mode.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remind people, and Jackie talked about being present, being aware, and then processing the feelings, right? But it's not her job to make other people comfortable. And even if her husband was coming from, we're going to go to this meal, but don't order anything past a salad, right? It is it is not Jackie's job to fix, to change, it is just her job to be present, ignore it, and work on herself. And that's what people forget.
Absolutely, because we're living in survival mode.
Yeah.
We're constantly feeling under threat, under attack,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not fully processing information. We're categorizing it and jumping to conclusions because we're trying to make sense of it. And we do that because we're not calm enough to ask follow up questions.
Mm. Oh, it's so true. This is where the four agreements really comes in. And, I love that book. I actually just found, believe it or not, a meditation on the four agreements. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm excited for that because, sometimes we need to go back to those basics.
Mhm.
Oh, so good. I'm loving it. This is why I love having you on the show. It's so fun to kind of deep dive and go into a lot of these different things. We just like feed ourselves for nourishment. We need to nourish ourselves in that spiritual and mind because those are also things that need to be nourished.
Absolutely. One of the things that I focus on when it comes to nourishment is creating spaces of possibility.
Mm.
What I recognize is that somewhere along the line, we stopped dreaming.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier in the beginning, how did you get to this point? And I was thinking about this last week as I was reconnecting to my 5-year-old self. And what I'm doing right now, this business was built for her
Mm.
because she wasn't allowed to dream.
Wow.
That was stripped away. And that happens for so many of us,
Mm.
especially women of color,
Yeah.
because we are taught to survive, to get a career, to hopefully not have debt. We're not taught about creating wealth. We're not
Hmm.
taught about generational wealth. We didn't
No.
have it.
No.
We're not changing the narrative until we decide that we're going to. And sometimes because we don't have the representation to show us, it makes us feel like it's impossible. And so in my spaces, we're creating the vision in your mind's eye so that you can be your own representation. You can see
Yeah.
future you
Hmm.
doing that. You can build that dream life and do it without blowing up your current reality.
And people are so afraid of that because they haven't seen anybody else do it.
Yep.
And then you go back to, am I worthy? And of course, the other tapes that I see a lot of us, especially women of color, is what are they going to say? What are they going to think? And the they is our families for the most part.
The judgment, right? All the
Mhm.
judge that we think is going to come out of what people will say and do. And likely they will.
They will.
Not always, right? In my head, it was like they're going to laugh at you. I don't know who's laughing at me, but in my head, everybody, they're making fun of me and
Hmm.
laughing at me.
Yeah.
And that fear of not having seen anyone else do it, it's because of that fear of the unknown. And we talked about the brain and how we process. The brain doesn't know how to process something it hasn't seen.
That's right.
That's why visualization becomes really important to help give that scenery
Hmm.
to the brain, give the input, because otherwise it's categorizing into these different spaces and it's not able to make sense. And that's why we end up just feeling helpless and hopeless
Hmm.
and staying the same.
Yeah.
And I'm just not about being basic.
Mm. And I think that, this conversation for someone who maybe is stumbling upon this type of talk for the first time, I want them to know that they cannot and should not stay stuck, that there are ways to start to move. And this is why individuals that have been on the path can help you fast track,
Yeah.
can help you move and sort of avoid, right, the stumbles that many of us have if we don't have direction or if we don't have someone holding the flashlight for us.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is a no shame zone. No shame, no
Yeah.
judgment.
No shame or judgment. I love that. What do you wish your 5-year-old self could offer the many little girls that are now grown women who are trying to please the world? Are and by the way, they probably, if because I've seen them, are doing everything and killing it. What would you say to those other 5-year-old girls so that they can help that grown up who is just exhausted?
Mm. I would tell them keep strutting, keep sashaying, keep dreaming those really big dreams. Forget the how and say nice things to yourself.
Mm.
Every time you look in the mirror and you think something negative, or you get a paper at work, at school, little 5-year-old, or a friend or somebody in your classroom says something and it hurts your feelings, say something nice to yourself.
Mhm. I love that.
Reinforce those positives.
Yeah.
And it's more than affirmations, it's
Mhm.
creating that space of believing.
Mm. Yeah, you got to be the believing part. And our 5-year-old selves really had that innate believing in ourselves, being able to. And if you don't think that you did, then go back and feel compassion for that girl and give her the opportunity others took away from her. Mm.
5-year-old Jackie wanted to be a model, but then started to think that she couldn't be pretty unless she was thin and blonde with blue eyes.
Wow. And that's the work that you do now.
Exactly.
And that's the work that really you embody, but also are helping others through. And it's going to create a place where if you're listening to this and you begin this work, you are going to then break some patterns that don't serve anyone, but and have been there for a long time. And why not now? And why not you?
Mm.
Amazing. Amazing. So, for other listeners, tell me how they find you and what can they expect when maybe they work with you if they're looking to have someone guide them.
So you can find me on Instagram at Inspire Journey Consulting. I'm also going to give the free self-worth reset that we can put in the notes.
Love it.
So that's a great 3-part video series to get you on your way to prioritizing and loving you the way you
Mm,
deserve. Working with me, most of my clients work with me in a private coaching space, knowing that we want to create a safe space for you to feel,
mm,
to really set up your vision for your life. And it's okay if you don't know what it is. Most people aren't asked what they're dreaming of. So, how are you supposed to know the answer to that?
mm,
But we get clarity. We create this vision, this feeling, and we attach to that. We work through an implementation system that includes mindset practices so that we can quiet the noise that gets in your way when you want to keep moving forward. And then create those actionable steps that weave into your life and feel natural and get you in the habit. And then
mm.
touch on a power up practice at the end in order to keep the momentum going.
So good. We unpacked a lot of different things, Jackie, and I want to ask one last question because I think that this is always something that we should circle back to. What is one thing that maybe we didn't talk about and that you feel we should leave the listeners with?
We didn't spend a lot of time on abuse. And I want to bring it to the forefront because, again, it's a no shame zone. For those of you who have been through it, it's not your fault. I see you. And so many of these things that come up in your life are a result of that. And there's no judgment in that. It's just that you have the opportunity to take your power back. And that's what I want to be able to help you do.
Mm. Take up that invitation, my friend, to take this sign that maybe you don't know the connection. And now it's sort of, the picture is sort of like that Polaroid becoming a little clearer. Take the invitation and you listen to this conversation for a reason. I encourage you to reach out to Jackie. Build community for yourself because you're not alone. And the more that we talk about this, the more that we gain ourselves in this process, the more that we can create better relationships around us and take away some of the fear in patterns for others coming after us. Thank you for everything, my friend. You're so good.
Thank you. You're a gift. I appreciate you.
No, well, listen, I'm so glad that you're in my universe. And I want to encourage you again, my friend. The journey to confidence is not about getting there and feeling, woohoo, I made it. It is about the work that you do daily and shedding the shame, because there's no shame in the work that we have to all do. And last but not least, knowing that no matter what baggage you bring to the table, you are worthy and belong. So thank you again for tuning in and for spending time with us. Until next time, do it. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams.